All right, it is Monday again, a wonderful day. It's June 26th. I can't believe the year's almost halfway over already. But at any rate, yeah, welcome you guys to ACIM Talks for Monday night. And I thought you got the agenda, but no pressure. I just thought we'd have some fun with a ACIM pop quiz. It's only for those made strong enough through A Course in Miracles to take this test with ease. So without further ado, let me share screen and pull that up. And take a look at it. Yeah, let me get everything set up here. Make sure you can you see it okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are like, what, 15 items? And all you gotta do is match the names in the left column with the correct answer in the right column. Holy Spirit.
Gee, the voice for God.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What do you think, the rest of you? Is there a consensus there? Oh, so what does that mean? Do you have a different answer, or are you not sure Joan's correct? Or
I'm trying to read them all.
Go right ahead. Yeah. You can't even see all the choices together.
Is it just one answer?
Yep. One
Okay.
best answer so that everything fits together.
Okay, gee.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
All right. That is correct. By the way, all the answers are down here at the bottom. So
Okay.
there's any pressure, okay? Number 2, atonement. Atonement. What would I pick? Wow, this is hard.
E, all thought errors corrected.
Joan, you are wonderful. Okay. Letter E for number 2. We're all the way up to 3. Don't let Joan answer all of them. Little friendly competition. Joan knows already. Joan might remember this quiz. I don't know. Real world. A symbol like the rest of what perception offers. That is in workbook part 2, one of the special things. What is the real world? And Jesus says, the real world is a symbol like the rest of what perception offers. Does that ring a bell? That's why it's on here. It's from that section. Number 4, plan of salvation. Well, peace has entered the room. Let's let peace in and see who that might be. Let's see. Hello.
Hi, Jim.
Oh, it's Amy. Hey.
Hey,
It said peace when you came in. Is that your handle or something on Zoom?
Oh no, I thought it said to put in the password. I thought that's what it was.
Okay. Well, hey, whatever name
Got
it
me in.
says,
Right.
whatever it says on here, it's wonderful to see you, Amy, on ACIM Talks. For those that don't know, Amy is a long-time student with me, and she's been so busy working on her master's degree in what, Amy?
Education, teaching.
In education, and she works special needs and works a lot with animals. And she's on my committee working on a production called ACIM and Social Justice. So Amy hasn't been here for a while, but she's part of our network. So welcome again. Did you get an agenda, Amy, for
Yes.
tonight? So, you know, we're into the quiz.
Okay.
And Amy will probably be great at it because she's probably done this quiz before over the years, or at least she remembers how tricky I am. So we were on number 4, Plan of Salvation. What would you pick from the letter column?
but H.
Which H?
Yeah,
As God created me. 4 is B.
What? No, didn't get it.
So let's
What's
see.
B?
Oh,
Change
wait a
in
minute.
dreams.
No,
Uh,
I don't know. I didn't get that one either. Maybe it's been too long. Let's keep going. I pulled these out and dusted them off. Number 5 is truth.
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 Corrected errors.
I think that's atonement. 2-letter atonement is letter E.
Correct.
All thoughts corrected.
Truth. The truth will correct all errors in my mind.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
Correct
think
error.
that's it. What letter is that?
Hey,
Okay.
Yeah. That is so good. It does make sense, right?
Yeah, well, that's why I was asking, is there more than one answer to everyone? Because a few of them fit.
Right.
Something like that.
Right. But if you get them all, they kind of fit best, at least to me.
Got you.
Number 6.
Gotcha.
Body.
Communication device.
Yeah, so let's check. 6
I.
is
Yeah.
J,
Yeah.
a communication device. 7, everything. Everything. Well, this is terrible.
How about everything is in my own best interest? F.
What letter is that?
F.
Thank you. Listen, y'all, next time I bring something, I'll try and look it over better before. She's exactly right. Doesn't the course say that everything is in my own best interest?
And I was gonna say I.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna. put
this
I.
to me, it's,
Yeah, that does.
yeah,
Well,
Um,
how about the number 11? Doesn't that go with I?
illusion. Yeah, it does. I didn't look down the list.
Yeah. So going back to body as a and everything is in my own best interest. That's in lesson 25. Oh, that's where that was taken. It's coming back to me now. Okay, this is a good one. Number 8, generalize. What does Jesus say generalize means? Giving you a chance to look at the options here and recognize what we've already used. Generalize.
How about teaching for the hard-headed?
Yeah.
I got letter C.
Yeah.
See,
Use for.
use for everything. Oh, okay.
Isn't that what he means by generalize? Don't just use it for this example, but we're trying to help you to develop the ability to generalize and be able to see the content regardless. Use this for everything. It works for everything. It's holistic. It's oh, that's enough. All right. This one's easy. Number 9, I am.
H.
All right. We won't spend much more on that. Knowledge. 10, knowledge.
Not the motivation for learning this course.
All right. So, you know how when you plant flowers and you see them bloom, and I see Joan and you see why I love her. Oh my God. Yeah, Joan, you know you're one of my oldest students, right?
Yeah, I believe I am. I'm older than dirt.
So me too. But we've been together a long time, and it shows, right?
Mm.
So we did knowledge and illusion. We already covered it.
Illusion.
Letter I. An illusion looks really real, but it isn't. 12. Now, indirect teaching. That's a good one. I remember it from my book.
Is it M, teaching for the hard-headed?
Exactly. Yeah. Y'all know what I mean by that?
No.
Anybody?
Like how Jesus taught in parables, you know, because we don't understand.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
It's a little more than that. Indirect teaching is for people that raise defenses against direct teaching.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
So would that be like demonstration?
Oh, it absolutely is demonstration, but even it says a demonstration of what? You raise defenses if I try and come to you and talk to you and tell you the truth. You don't want to hear the truth. So what I'm going to do is accelerate your awareness of what's false. So you keep bumping your head against a wall until you see it doesn't work. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
Now you may be open to a change. But while you were so committed to your way, you weren't open to a direct teaching of truth. So I'll take another approach and I'll quickly teach you what's not true to open you up to listen to the truth. It works either way. It's just how much do you want to suffer? I could have told you and you listened the gentle way, right? The easy way. But for those who put up resistance, I respect that. I respect your free will. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll use a different strategy. And Reverend Jim calls it teaching for the hard-headed. I won't try and teach you what's true. I'll teach you what's false until you recognize it yourself. And now we're ready to go back to the starting point. But you have to be ready to hear it. So if you bump your head enough, if you crash enough, you'll start thinking there must be a better way. So I'll use that approach. Is that a good enough explanation for teaching? Either way, it works. And because it's all happening in the dream, nothing really happened except a lesson. 13, call for love.
A.
Okay.
Not love is A. Let's just go make sure here. I think it is. Yay! 14, perception.
How we see it.
And that letter is what?
Oh,
I think that's correct. And finally, grievance.
Grievance.
The only one left probably, but we didn't keep track. Yeah, grievance.
Say I.
or no, I don't think we used and something's wrong.
We used I. We've used everything except
And
in. A grievance says something's wrong. And you know, Dee, that reminds me of Dove. I love that guy. What his favorite saying is, everything's always perfect. It's always going according to plan. You can't lose no matter appearances, because God can't be mistaken. There's a plan going on, right?
Well, my plan for tonight has taught me that I need to keep coming. I think I got one right.
Well, I was very rusty on the whole thing, but you know, the purpose of this, it's a getting in the mood segment, isn't it? And so I'll just do, if it's all right, I have a lot of things I've done in the past and things that I plan to create in the future to just add a little excitement or something different or variety to the getting in the mood segment of things. But yeah, I see smiley faces, so I guess that's the goal of all of this stuff.
Yeah, that was fun. It was fun.
Great. Yeah. You did a great job, all of you. Thank you. We're supposed to start the CE preface in the CE edition. And should I just put it on screen? I don't have a paper copy, but should I put it on screen for everyone, right? Or no? Or would you rather read yours?
I have. Does anyone need it? does anyone need it on the screen?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, and I do
Okay.
too. I don't have a paper copy.
Oh,
So
okay, great.
why
Then go
don't
for
we,
it.
all right. Well, Amy, you know, we assign readers and that, so let me do that. I'll be reader 1, Joan is 2, Dee is 3, Kathleen 4, Amy is 5. Is that all right?
Mhm.
So I'll just get that up here and see if everybody can see it okay. I'll make it to maybe just a little bigger if I can get it right. Can you see it okay pretty well
Yeah,
Yes. Mhm.
so far? Okay. ACIM Preface CE version. Tell me again, what is the CE version? Is that Circle of Atonement? That
it's a
published
complete and annotated edition.
complete unannotated, right?
No, complete and annotated edition.
So when you say annotated, to me that means some form of editing. What does annotated mean?
I would imagine they edited back in what was left out.
Because usually when you okay,
I don't know. I don't have the, all I know is what it says on the front cover.
all
And
right.
that's what it
Somebody
stands for.
do us a favor while we go on and look up annotated. All right. A Course in Miracle. What is A Course in Miracles? This is the preface to the CE version. A Course in Miracles is a path of spiritual development that takes the form of an educational course consisting of a text, a workbook for students, and a manual for teachers. Its aim is to re-educate our basic perception of reality and teach us to extend this new perception to others so that we can both give happiness and find happiness.
Mhm.
It starts out differently than the FIP version. The first thing, the FIP's in distinct sections. Is this one gonna be in sections too? For those
I-
that have been.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Well, why don't we just continue, Joan? You see where we are?
Yes. Mhm. The course has no human author in the conventional sense, but was authored through a process of inner dictation. Helen Schuckman, who lived from 1909 to 1981, and William Thetford, who lived from 1923 to 1988, were respected psychologists at the top of their field, working at Columbia University's College of Physicians and Surgeons in New York City. In the summer of 1965, after years of conflict with each other and within their department, Bill made an impassioned speech to Helen in which he said, "There must be another way, a way in which people could cooperate rather than compete." Helen surprised him by saying she would join him in this new approach. It was a rare moment of joining for them, which they knew was significant at the time, but which had repercussions far beyond what they could have imagined.
This sounds to me like the FIP pretty much consistent. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's a little synopsis of how this came about it.
But
And that shouldn't change.
exactly, just kind of a historical
Yeah.
fact, right?
Just the definition of annotate
Yes.
Add notes to a text or diagram, giving explanation or comment.
Okay.
Documentation should be annotated with explanatory notes.
So it's
Oh.
In essence, that's what this is, because this book is filled with footnotes.
yeah. So it's an addition rather than a concise or a deletion. Yeah, it's
What
not
was the
like
first
a reader's
sentence, Kathleen?
digest.
I gotta find it, I lost it, okay.
Okay,
Add notes to a text or a diagram that was in the little thingies, giving
Mhm.
explanation or comment. Documentation should be annotated with explanatory notes.
Ah,
So it says where, and underneath it has similar, like comment on or add notes or footnotes too.
Okay, but it's added material.
Yeah,
yeah, so that's a great,
Annotate-
it really explains what this book is
Right,
about.
right. It sure
It's a
helps.
perfect word, yeah.
I agree. Dee, I think you're next. We're at
Okay,
Ellen, a self-professed.
Helen, a self-professed quote unquote militant atheist, soon began having a series of inner visions, heightened dreams, and psychic experiences. These culminated in the fall of 1965 when she heard an inner voice say to her, "This is a course in miracles. Please take notes." This same voice told her that she had agreed to take down A Course in Miracles as her contribution to a larger plan to restore humanity's forward spiritual progress.
Wow. What's a militant atheist? Well, what's an atheist, first of all, right?
No belief in God.
Is it no
No.
belief in God? Yeah, I think it is specifically, right? And then why did they add the word militant? I didn't know Helen was militant. What do they mean by that? Can you expand on that?
But
Amy?
they didn't add it. That's what she called herself.
Why?
I guess she was steadfast in that
Against
it-
God?
in
Steadfast.
that stance. That
Yeah,
was her.
against God, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't wavering. It was
militant means like she put her feet in the ground and didn't move. It's like she put herself in cement and wasn't going to budge an inch
Yeah.
in her
She
beliefs.
must have been really disappointed because if you read the other biographies, she had tried religion and that, several of them. So they must have ended up being very disappointing, her experiences in the churches or synagogues or whatever she tried. Any comments on what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I mean,
Well,
it's not like she was always an atheist. Yes, go ahead.
I think it's pretty funny, actually, because considering she called herself a militant atheist before she even knew what this book was going to be about. I mean, she knew it was, about God. She committed to scribing it for 7 days a week, day in and day out, 24 hours, whenever it came. She committed to that. So
Yeah.
it seems so it seems so opposed to her label of herself.
Right. It certainly speaks to how compelling the course must have been for her. But my point was simply that she wasn't always a militant atheist. She had tried spirituality, but dissatisfied enough to when she actually just became an atheist.
True.
And what impressed me, not just an atheist, but the first time I saw the word militant, like a real aggressive atheist. At any rate, that's an insight for me.
Yeah.
Anything? Yeah, go ahead, anybody. Okay. D, you just read. Did you want to read more, or you pass, or what?
I'll pass.
Are we on Thus Began?
Yep.
right?
Yes.
Yes. Thus
So
began
we're-
7 years of scribing, A Course in Miracles. Helen would write down the words of the inner voice in shorthand notebooks and would later dictate what she had written to Bill, who would type it up. She sometimes resisted taking dictation and often argued with the course's teachings. Yet she did her utmost to faithfully record what she was hearing. Despite her skepticism, the course clearly commanded great respect from her. In her autobiography, she wrote of a particular combination of certainty, wisdom, gentleness, clarity, and patience that characterized the voice. Footnote number 1. Helen Coleman Schumann, PhD, autobiography, Temalusa, CA, Foundation of A Course in Miracles.
Wait, hold on. Where are you reading
That's
from?
at the bottom of the page. That's where
Did
the
I go down to the bottom then?
yeah, of that page, there should be a footnote.
Uh-oh.
Oh, so this doesn't have, this may have the footnotes all the way at the end.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
So how should we handle that, guys?
Well, if I see a footnote, I'll give you
You
a,
just read
yeah.
it?
I'll let you know where the footnotes are.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is just a footnote quoting from her autobiography, and at page 44 is where it came from.
All right. So let
Okay.
me get back here. This is about commanded great respect from her.
Yeah,
And it was that patience that characterized the voice. That's where a footnote was. One.
it was, okay, despite, it was in her, okay. It was the paragraph starting with "Thus began the 7 years of scribing." And the footnote was, in her autobiography, she wrote of a particular combination of certainty, wisdom, gentleness, clarity, and patience that characterized the voice. There was footnote number 1. She and Bill considered the course a sacred trust that they had been charged with, and Helen ultimately came to refer to it as her life's work.
Was she? I mean, that's 180 degrees. And yet she wasn't terrorized by what happened, to make her what power that must have had. I mean,
well,
it's like a regular person or a regular atheist. Go ahead. Was it D? Yeah.
I think it sounds to me like she was moved by what she calls the combination of certainty, wisdom, gentleness, clarity, and patience that characterize the voice. So that all came across to her as it sounds like quite endearing.
So how smart would you have to be to figure out to come up with a strategy, to have a strategy that would be powerful enough to work, even anticipating you're dealing with an atheist? Now, how can I win an atheist over? So it's distinctly not terrorism, is it?
Well, isn't it like the indirect
Mhm.
teaching that we were talking about earlier?
Yeah. I'm having trouble.
I don't know. It feels pretty direct
Well,
to me.
yeah, but it's not saying to her, you're an idiot because you're an atheist. What the voice is saying, the voice is just delivering what the voice is delivering. And it doesn't sound like the voice was saying, you have to hear this. It sounds like she took it at the voice is telling me this. I need to write it down. I don't necessarily have to believe in it, but I am delivering the script.
You know,
I
it
think I
reminds-
read where she said that she knew it was true, but she didn't know if she believed it or not.
Yeah,
She
exactly.
recognized the truth.
And from the standpoint of the voice, you know, initiating something like this, and based on what you were saying, Kathleen, it reminds me of the first principle of miracles. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. I said, who would come up with a strategy to convince a militant atheist? And I think you helped me understand. The voice wouldn't come up with a particular strategy. It would just be all it can be.
Right.
It's the same voice. It's generically compelling.
And it knew that she would do it. I mean, it picked her,
Yeah,
you know, so yeah, didn't
impressive,
pick
right?
someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amy, what do you think? You there? I can't see you right on the screen.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Are
here.
you following us and what we're doing? We're going through A Course in Miracles in a very kind of unorthodox way.
Uh-huh.
Since we have experienced people who are already familiar with the content, you know, like page by page.
I don't know. You might speak too soon, out of turn with that. I got one right, remember?
Well, theoretically, you know, there are some outliers like these. But in general, with our show, like before this version of the preface, we read through all of the FIP version. And then the weeks before that, we took our time and read through all the introductions only.
Mhm.
Like the intro to the text, intro to the workbook, intro to the manual for teachers. So we've been at this since April 17th. And we just take our time, but we're approaching around the edges of the course,
Mhm.
because they should have even deeper insights now for
Right.
those that have been through the content, and sometimes through the content many times. So it seems helpful. We have fun, we have a good time, and we actually learn a few things. Comments, Amy, just to get you on board here?
I always thought it was intriguing that she fought against the Course message her whole life, you know, and it made it so different than faiths where just everybody just believed everything that they were told.
Right.
But nobody ever criticized her for fighting against it, you know, so it's very different. I mean, the Course is just different than any other path in that way.
And I'm thinking that makes for an even more powerful example.
Mhm.
But you've seen this transition before. You know, I was saying in Lansing when I did my talk yesterday, I'm a spiritual hybrid.
Mhm.
And it hits me even more true, because when we talk, or when I talk to anybody, I have examples from the Bible,
Uh-huh.
from Course in Miracles, from Unity, and probably more and more from Hinduism and Eastern spirituality, which I study a lot as well. But the point I'm making is that when you see this extraordinary change in Helen Schuckman,
Uh-huh.
it reminds me of how it came about for Moses.
Yeah.
from the heights of Egyptian hierarchy back to the Hebrew people. The Apostle Paul, who originally was the biggest persecutor of Christians, and that road to Damascus story, I won't have to go into it, but he became the most prolific writer of the New Testament.
Right.
But he was just the opposite before some change came over him, something compelling enough. Remember, he was blinded
Yep.
and didn't open his eyes again until this change of mind occurred. And then he wrote all these books in the Gospels. So that's a miracle, isn't it?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And I was going to say well, I don't know if you want to say lesser, but on a lesser note, this is happening to anyone who studies the Course in Miracles, because it's changing their thought process. It's changing where you're coming from. It's like it's bursting your bubble.
Yeah. And when the bubble bursts, it's not that you have nothing anymore. It's not that there's a vacuum of nothingness, but when the bubble bursts, there's this gift that's bigger than anything.
Yeah.
And it was always there. It was just covered over by your. So here's this reverse process, removing the blocks to love's presence. It's always there. Anything else? Can we read a bit more? I think we're up to Amy.
Okay.
And oh God, is it Once a Course in Miracles? All right. Thank you.
Once A Course in Miracles was published in 1976, it had a similar effect on readers. They, like Helen, often argued with it, yet at the same time granted it tremendous authority, and many devoted their lives to it. In the time since it was published, the course has sold nearly 3 million copies. It has become a modern spiritual classic, acquiring a scriptural status in the eyes of readers around the world.
Comments, anyone?
It's impressive.
I agree. First and foremost, A Course in Miracles is a course, an educational program. It's
So this is, you asked if there were breaks. This is actually titled, there's a new section called A Course.
okay. All right. The course. First and foremost, A Course in Miracles is a course, an educational program. It is designed to take its students through a process of internalizing its thought system. In this process, we learn to accept into our minds and extend to others what the Course calls miracles, which heal the perception of the one receiving them. Each of the Course's 3 volumes signifies a different phase in this overall process. The volumes need not be done in order, but they are arranged in a logical sequence that reflects the overall progression the course seems to expect students to pass through. Comments, anyone? What's heal perception mean? Perception?
Just knowing that the way you see the world is just part of, your illusion, just like everybody else.
Yeah, and everyone's got a different perception or has the ability to hold a different perception, right?
Yep.
I would think a healed perception is the true perception.
And yet it's still not the ultimate goal, is it?
Right. But it says it heals the perception of the
Now,
one
what's
receiving
the
the mirror.
ultimate goal, though? Healed perception is a preparation for something.
For knowledge.
Yay! That's what, yeah. Anytime somebody says the same answer as me, I'm sorry. Does that make sense to everyone else? Remember chapter 8? Knowledge is not the motivation for learning this course. Peace is. And so I'm going to approach your mind and the healing of your mind, not because you know anything, but the path has got to be to first heal your perception. Lesson 52, it's a review lesson. And one of the first sentences says, reality is never frightening. Never? Wait. Wait. I know what's real, right? And you're going to tell me it's never frightening? And Jesus says, yes, let me start here, because what you think is real is 180 degrees from what is. You're terribly misinformed, sir. Isn't that where he starts with working? But notice he doesn't work with knowledge. Is it because I don't have any? It's all covered over. So let's work by removing the covering. This isn't creating, it's realizing what's always there. Am I saying that well, or what are your thoughts, or am I confusing everything?
You're saying it well.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Shall we move on?
Sure.
We are,
Okay.
yes.
The text is the first, longest, and most important volume. It provides the theoretical foundation of the course.
And that's
The text is a masterpiece of spiritual thought. As it guides us through hundreds of topics, the meanings we have assigned the world began to fall away, revealing a new meaning in everything. This happens even on the level of language. The course uses familiar terms, but fills them with new meaning, making each term a microcosm of its thought system. As a result, the text is not an easy read. To reap its rewards, we have to truly engage with it. The course asks us to read its words slowly and carefully, thinking about what they mean. It asks us to take them personally and treat them as practical, as more than an intellectual game. If we will do this with the text, we will experience our old worldview being slowly dismantled and a new worldview arising in its place.
Any comments here? Have you had this
I think
experience?
that
Yes.
paragraph, I think, is reinforcing that that it heals the perception of the one receiving them. So we're going from a false perception to a true perception. I think that's what this paragraph is saying. We'll experience our old world view being slowly dismantled and a new world view arising in its place.
So do you see if it was creative, it could be overlaid?
If it was, say it again?
If this was a creative process,
Mhm.
we could add this on top of your stuff. But it's not like something new. We don't want to add it on top of your stuff. We want to remove your stuff. It was always there. It's not a creative process. It is one of mere realization. So do you see why? And when you're out teaching the course yourself, you see it's an undoing, not a doing. Okay.
Mhm.
Go backwards, okay? All right. Anything else here?
Just other than just to let you know that at the very beginning where it says theoretical foundation, it was the second footnote. And all it was letting you know that that was from the workbook introduction, first paragraph, first sentence.
Okay. And so it's a referral to go back and read
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You don't have it right there, right?
No, it's just telling you where that's from. So if you want to go back
Right.
into the workbook, you can further read more.
By the way, where is that in the workbook? Can you look it up where it's sent you?
Workbook introduction? Sure,
It's in the workbook introduction.
that's what it
Yeah,
says.
that's
I
what it
think
said.
it is. We read that, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Have
Right.
Okay. Well, I won't belabor it then. We may have time for one more paragraph, could we?
Oh, I was looking where that footnote is referring to. Well. Oh, I see it. So I'm going to read what that footnote is referring to in the introduction to the workbook lessons. A theoretical foundation such as the text is necessary as a background to make the exercises in the workbook meaningful. Yet it is the exercises that will make the goal of the course possible.
Yeah. And that sounds very familiar. So I see how this is going. I'm looking at the time here. We made it through page 2, right?
Mhm.
So let me just make a note that on mine it says finished page 2, and we'll start on 3 next time.
Okay.
okay.
All right. Well, time kind of flies. Are we wandering around too much? Are we covering enough? Is it a good feel tonight?
The great pace. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I like the pace that, yeah, I like it. I'm enjoying it.
Well,
I like-
go ahead, dear.
I like breaking it down, picking it out and seeing where it's how it's coming from, or how it's being taught and where it's coming from. It's not just reading the words and hoping you get what you get. It's like looking at the words and finding what you're supposed to get.
I totally agree with what you're saying. And it's like we start and whatever happens, happens.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's an example of it's so nice when you can be in an environment of like-minded people to let this guidance just fully express for an hour, knowing that whatever form this session takes, it's coming from a very relaxed, I'm not trying to structure it. I don't have to do anything, but just be open. And at the end, don't we have fun?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the truth being perfect is also fun. It can't be, I mean, how can the perfect lack joy?
Mhm.
So I think we're on the right track, ladies. Maybe we
And that
can
was
do
the
it
very
again.
last sentence that was in the first paragraph that we read tonight, the last sentence of the first paragraph. Its aim is to re-educate our basic perception of reality and teach us to extend this new perception to others so that we can both give happiness and find happiness.
So practical spirituality is basically a smiley face.
Yep.
Shouldn't be hard if love is what you are. Try it and see. We feel it. And we can demonstrate it, can't we?
Mhm.
See you next week. Thank you for
Bye,
coming.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Thanks,
Thanks.
everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste.
And yeah, special guest, Miss Amy. Thank you for coming.
Well,
Bye-bye.
my master's is done, so I should be able to have a life again. So
Yay!
Nice, yay.
I'm so glad.
finally.
Good night to you all. Bye-bye.
Good night.